What's up, Thrashers, and welcome to episode number 20. God, can you believe it's been 20 episodes? Ah! Yes, we have reached episode 20 of 5 Questions with Levi. Man, we're almost to 6 months of, 6 months of doing this show. I mean, I thank you guys so much for asking questions every single week, and I've been doing my best to keep up with it every single week as much as I can. And this episode should be an interesting one, so without further ado, let's get to the questions, shall we? Fat Fuck Behind a Burning Asshole asks, what is your honest opinion about alternative rock and punk rock? Do you like any specific songs, albums, subtypes of those genres? Think stuff like Goo Goo Dolls, Blink-182, Panic at the Disco, 30 Seconds to Mars, etc. My honest opinion about alternative rock and punk rock, it's like alternative rock, if you're talking early alternative rock, like bands like Jane's Addiction, Smashing Pumpkins, and even Red Hot Chili Peppers, some of that stuff's really, really good. When it comes to alternative music, I prefer alternative metal, which is basically metal mixed with alternative rock. So in that sense, you get bands like Faith No More, Primus, Rage Against the Machine, among so many bands out there under the alternative metal branch. Hell, even Breaking Benjamin's alternative metal to an extent. Punk rock, on the other hand, you can't go wrong with classic punk from, say, Sex Pistols, the Ramones, those kinds of bands. However, when it comes to punk, I prefer hardcore punk from bands like Black Flag, Discharge, Agnostic Front, those kind of bands. That's my forte when it comes to the punk rock music of since the 70s going today. Pop punk, I absolutely cannot stand. No matter how hard people try and convince me to listen to it otherwise, I won't listen to pop punk. Unless you put it up against Nickelback, then maybe I'll listen to pop punk, but don't expect me to care or like it too much. So that's my honest opinion about alternative rock and punk rock. Now, you may be wondering, why do I not like pop punk? To me, pop punk goes against what punk rock was originally meant to be. It was meant to be resisting the mainstream. Bands like Sex Pistols pretty much would give the finger to mainstream pop and mainstream press, and that's why they played the music that they played. You know, pop punk to me, when you're using that phrase, pop punk, it's basically the death of punk rock, right there. Just pointing that out. Space Metal Ferrari 248 asks, will you make a rant video how Kyle Busch's 200 wins are not on the same league as Richard Petty if/when Kyle Busch gets to the overall number? I may do a rant video about that, or I'll just post a smarky little 1-minute video saying of how those wins were not impressive, pretty much because 3/4 of them were in lower series and races where he didn't belong in. So I don't know if I'll do a rant video. I mean, a lot of people would probably expect me to make a rant video of if Kyle Busch gets to the 200 overall NASCAR wins total. And yeah, even if he gets that mark, it doesn't matter. He's only got 50 Cup wins. He's not even on the same league as fucking Jimmy Johnson, so yeah, that's really all I've got on that. Motorsports Fan 17 asks, who are the 5 most underappreciated drivers across all 3 of NASCAR's top series? 5 most underappreciated drivers across all 3 NASCAR series. Well, the number 1, I know this will be weird, but I still feel not a lot of people give credit to Martin Truex Jr. I mean, I don't understand why there are people out there who don't like him. In fact, he started his career off as Dale Jr.'s big protege, and they've been great friends pretty much for 15 years. You would think that with Jr.'s relationship with Truex, you would think Truex would be the most popular guy in the sport and not Chase Elliott. And now with the whole Roval thing, people are now mad at him for actually standing up for himself, which I posted that video earlier today talking about how people are hypocritical towards their feelings on Truex because Truex stood up for himself when for many years he's never stood up for himself. And the one time he does, people want to bitch at him for it. So I don't understand. So I feel Truex is the #1 most underappreciated NASCAR driver. As far as anybody else, oh, that's a toughie. I would probably also say I don't feel a lot of people give someone like Chris Buescher credit, because Chris Buescher is doing the best he can with the hand that he's been dealt. Going back to his rookie year in 2016, racing for Front Row, you would think that Roush should have hired him to drive the 6 car, or to get rid of Bain back then, or get rid of Stenhouse. Now, after what Stenhouse has been pulling this year, yeah, Roush, please get rid of Wrecky Stenhouse. So Buescher should be in Roush, and he probably could help bring that team back up to a competitive level, but you never know with that kind of stuff. Considering how he was able to win an Xfinity championship for Roush, and this was during a time when Roush was really starting to go downhill after Carl Edwards left. So I'd say Buescher is another underappreciated one. I would also say another guy that doesn't get enough credit, I feel, is Justin Allgaier. Because look at Allgaier's career. He's been in the sport in NASCAR Major Series for now 10 years. And every single year, except for maybe a couple years in between, he's always been able to win at least one race. He's the one guy, the one constant in the Busch Nationwide Xfinity Series who's been able to beat the Cup leeches. I don't understand why no big team wants to give him a good Cup ride. I hear people say that Allgaier doesn't want to go to Cup. I find that hard to believe. I guarantee you if Allgaier would replace Jimmy Johnson in the 48, he would probably win like 4 races in his rookie year. I guarantee that. Because Allgaier is one of the best drivers going right now in NASCAR, in contention for the Xfinity title if he doesn't get eliminated because of this stupid-ass format. So Allgaier's another guy I feel doesn't get enough credit. Another guy I feel that doesn't get much appreciation today is John Hunter Nemechek. And I know why. It's because people are still to this day pissed at him over Canadian Tire 2016, when I've talked about that incident so many times. John Hunter did nothing wrong. It was a Rubbins racing deal. Custer finished second. Why the hell should people be mad at John Hunter for actually racing Cole Custer? I don't understand. And because of that, I feel John Hunter's never going to get the respect he deserves just based off of one Rubbins racing deal where nobody wrecked. It was just hard racing on the last lap in the last corner, and one of the greatest finishes in the history of the sport, but people want to bitch at John Hunter for nothing. So that's a problem there, and that's why I feel John Hunter doesn't get enough credit. And then the last guy, for the 5th guy that doesn't get enough credit or enough appreciation, I personally say that I would say right now another guy that doesn't get enough credit, I would say, is Brett Moffitt. Because look at Moffitt's career now. You know, 2015 finishes top 10 at Atlanta, subbing for Brian Vickers in the 55 and Cup. Ever since then, I've had my eye on him, hoping he'd get a good ride in any series and be a championship contender. Now he's finally in a decent team, and I don't even think it's like the best equipped truck. And he's been able to give them, 4 wins now? And in the hunt for the championship in trucks, so... And I feel people don't give Brett Moffitt enough respect. From what I've seen, those would be the 5 guys I feel that doesn't get enough appreciation from the majority of NASCAR fans. I mean, people probably say I'm an idiot for certain guys, but I mean, if you listen to what I'm saying, you know, you maybe understand a thing or two. I don't know. Ford Minor Project asks, besides NASCAR games, what other racing games do you enjoy playing? Well, right now, as far as racing games I play besides NASCAR games, Rocket League, even though it's like racing and hockey and soccer combined, and even basketball, because there's the hoops mode. But I also like playing Trackmania. In fact, before I recorded, I was playing getting ready to play some Trackmania Turbo, and I was going to do some stuff on there. I probably still will after I get done recording. But, yeah, those are the only other racing games besides NASCAR games that I play right now. If only I had my PS3, I'd probably do like Gran Turismo 5 recordings or whatever, but I don't think I'm ever going to get my old PS3 back. And I had so much stuff on that thing. It sucks. BlazeLife334 asks, have you ever thought about beating sense into your brother's girlfriend's kid and your cousin DJ for being a fan of Cryle Bitch? I also don't consider my cousin Jackson a real racing fan for fan-braiding Danica Patrick. Well, I mean, when I say that stuff, I'm always sarcastic, like, I'm not that harsh. And, yeah. Basically, whenever I said that I should knock some sense into my brother's girlfriend's kid and to my cousin, that was out of gist. I mean, it still disappoints me that they like Kyle Busch, but, whatever, I guess. Kids are kids. They'll eventually probably grow out of him and probably realize that he's a dick and will gravitate towards someone else. If the sport's even around by the time they're adults. I don't know. And that does it for episode number 20 of 5 Questions with Levi. This was a great episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And for those who are watching, as my phone goes off again, for those watching that has never asked me a question before on this show, be sure to send them in the comments section below. 1 question per person. The first 5 that I noticed that were sent will be answered for episode 21 next week. Thank you guys so much for helping to get this series to 20 episodes. 6 more episodes, and it will have been 6 months since this series began or got revamped. And I appreciate the love and support you subscribers give me every single day. And also, just only a few thousand views away from 1 million video views on this channel. After nearly 10 years of being on YouTube, we're getting very, very close to 1 million total video views. I can't wait to get to that point. Let's get there before the end of the year. Thank you for watching. Peace out, and I will see you next time.